All right, guys. So our next main topic here today is the big topic. So everybody's been talking about Warner Brothers blindsided in a lot of ways. I don't think this was arranged in any way. They literally blindsided the whole theater industry here, where they announced that in the year 2021 they're going to be releasing all of their movies both in theaters and on HBO Max at the same time. Now there is one little caveat with that, is that it's only going to be available on HBO Max for 30 or 31 days, whichever, it's one of the two, like 30 days. It's going to be available on HBO Max for 30 days. Then it's going to go back and continue only being in theaters for the rest of the theatrical window, which kind of odd. So it's going to spend 30 days in the theater and on HBO Max, and then it's only going to be in the theater. Then after that, it's going to go to VOD or what have you. So it's pretty much going to be the normal theatrical window, except the first month it's also going to be available simultaneously on HBO Max. So initially that news came out essentially just with Wonder Woman. On December 25th, it's going to be coming out on HBO Max and in theaters. But I mean, as it stands right now, most, if not most of the theaters probably around the world right now, pretty much, a lot of them are closed. So it kind of made sense for them to release Wonder Woman on Christmas Day, or just on HBO Max on Christmas Day, just to finally get it out there, right? But this was a big move, which, I mean, I gotta say, for we've been talking about it a lot here on the show in general, and with these streaming services coming in, they're like Disney first started doing it, with they had the Mulan test, which, I mean, it was for all intents and purposes a disaster. Them charging the extra fee for it did not work out well for them. But they've since moved to, I mean, they released their Artemis Fowl movie, skipping theaters altogether. I mean, no one watched it on Disney Plus anyway. It's apparently really bad. I haven't even watched it, and I have Disney Plus. So there you go. But then they're also following that up with releasing Soul straight to Disney Plus as well. And we went over it, what was it, last week or a couple weeks ago, where, I mean, sooner rather than later, this is what's going to happen. Like, in all honesty, movie theaters, I think it's safe to say this is definitely not helping anything. I think this could very well be, if not the final nail in the coffin, but it could definitely be like Warner Brothers is preparing the coffin.
Yeah.
Let's put it that way. They're
getting it ready.
Yeah, they cut the tree down for it. All right, and
the wood's already been cut. Maybe.
Yeah, maybe, I don't know. But that's what this is kind of like. It to me, this is the first step in theaters going bye-bye, becoming in the way. Just like Laserdisc went away, just like vinyl went away,
8-tracks,
CDs went away. You can still get them.
Vinyl's back. Vinyl's back.
Yeah, vinyl's hip.
Yeah, but that's not, vinyl's cheap to make. That's the thing. Vinyl's cheaper to make than CDs are to make. Yeah, I mean, vinyl is not expensive to manufacture. So a little bit different, but for the first time, I think it was last year. It was recently, the vinyl outsold CDs.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, that makes sense.
Who's buying CDs? Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, everyone's doing everything digitally anymore. Hence, the theater industry. And here's the thing. This obviously, for the most part, is negative. You could see it being a lot of negatives. I'm going to hit you with some things, John, because I know you're probably, out of all of us, the biggest movie theater goer. We probably watch the same amount of movies, yeah. But as far as the theaters, like, I've stopped going to the theater for pretty much anything but like the big movies. Those are the ones that really I like seeing those in the theaters, But for things like otherwise, like, I don't know, I've never been one to need to see an independent film or something in theater, even though those are the ones you should support more in all reality. I don't know. It's not what I like to make the trip for.
Yeah, I'll go see a comedy in the theater. I'll go see a drama.
Yeah, I'll see comedy.
Like, I'm not. I like the experience overall. It's not, obviously, I love the big action stuff because the giant picture, the bigger sound, whatever, all that just, it feels bigger for those big action set movies. But I just like the experience, the immersion that I get from being in a theater. So yeah, I'm not picky about what I'll go see.
Right.
You really do get like immersed into it. That's a good way to put it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's the thing too, and it's like the shared experience with it. Because, like, I don't know, the
Sure.
biggest example I like using, at least as far as like the movie theater going experience, is like when you're watching Endgame. It's different when you're just like, imagine seeing the scene where Cap gets Mjolnir, and like you sitting on your couch, you're like, "Oh wow, that's great." And maybe you'll laugh out
Nice.
loud, maybe you'll smile out loud. But when you're in the theater, you and 100 other people are just going ape shit. Exactly. There it is. Like,
He's got it.
there it is. But, like, yeah, when that scene happens, the theater erupts. So you're like, and it's just that's the shared experience, you know?
Yeah.
Elsewise, you're not getting, like, it's fine to watch it, at home. Like, I still enjoy it, but you don't get, like, I think that's why I prefer going for the big ones, because like, you get
Sure.
more, it's more of a collaborative thing, you know what I mean? It's like
Yep.
being in a room with, like, I mean, we're humans and we like being around like-minded individuals, right? Everyone's like,
Sure.
so it's like everyone's there experiencing it together. It's a good time. Like, it's like a big party.
Like, to me, it's always like when you watch those like European soccer teams and everybody's in the pub, like
Yeah,
packed
so
in there,
fun.
and somebody scores a goal and everybody's just like, yeah. That's
Yeah.
kind of the same sort of thing.
Yeah, exactly that. Here's the thing though. What if this happens? I think it's safe to say most of, like, a lot of theaters will suffer from this going forward, because it's no surprise, like, all of the studios, they want to just release the stuff on, like, their movies on their own platform, because the movie theaters are essentially a middleman to them. Like, so obviously it's more.
It's a distribution channel. I mean,
Yeah,
that's essentially that's what it is. They're a bar for beer. I mean,
exactly.
beer gets served in a bar. It's just a distribution channel.
Mhm.
The product is the beer. The product is the movies.
Exactly.
Same for pops and drinks in restaurants. They're just like you said. They're just the middleman. But
Mhm. Right, and that's
sorry,
why.
I cut off
No,
your point there.
no, you're good. Like, cause no, like, 'cause that's what I'm saying. Like, so the theaters have always wanted, because before they weren't able to, like, uh, studios weren't allowed to have their own, like, theaters, because the Paramount decrees were in place. So those are gone now. But as far as the movie theaters go in that industry anymore, they're not financially, like, successful in a lot of ways. So, like, they work on a very small deficit. So as it stands right now, like, the theaters make all their money from, like, popcorn sales and stuff like that. They really don't get that much money off the ticket sales or anything like that. That, for the most part, 70% plus of that goes back to the movie, the I can't talk right now. The studios anyway.
Sure.
So, you being a moviegoer, though, I want to present you with something, because obviously, like, my big point there is, like, we went over this with a week or two ago. Like, Disney is, like, on the road to making, with just Disney Plus, like, alone, like, a $7 billion profit a year without putting a single movie in theaters. Literally, just looking at revenue from Disney Plus, they're going to be making $7 billion in profit. Like, and it's the same with, like, and that's why HBO Max, not because I think it was Netflix. They spent like 27 some. They made like $27 billion, I believe, but then they had to end up spending like 14 or 15, around 15 billion. They have to spend on licensed material. So,
Yeah.
like, getting your friend's show and all that stuff. They have to spend money to get that stuff. HBO Max, Disney Plus, they're going to be focusing on releasing their own stuff they
Yeah.
own. So they're
There's
going to
no
have zero
licensing.
licensing costs.
Yeah.
So consider, like, Netflix or like Disney, they're able to make $27 billion in 1 year, but Netflix would have to pay 15 billion to license the material. Disney, HBO, they don't have to worry about that.
Yeah.
They put their own stuff
Yeah.
out there. They get all the money. That's why they obviously would they want to just direct to consumer, put all their stuff there, because they'll make a shit ton more money just putting just with their streaming service. They can get more subscribers. That's guaranteed money. They
Yeah.
put a movie out in the theaters. It's always a gamble. They don't know how much money they're going to make when it comes down to it. Like, some movies, obviously, they know are going to make more than others, but you never know. It's a gamble. So that's obviously why they want to do it. So it's really no surprise. It's just, like I said, it's going to be like the whole CD industry and all that. Just eventually it's going to die in some ways, but maybe it'll still be around. Hopefully they stay around. If they do stay around, do you think, I think some positives about this could be, like, now you're going to have the people going to the theaters. are gonna be people who like that experience. They're gonna like so you're not gonna have the guy on his cell phone or the gal on her cell phone. You're not gonna have the people talking and yammering and being annoying throughout the whole movie.
It's true.
Like, you're gonna have all the people who actually want to be there and enjoy that movie-going experience, because obviously anyone who's, like,
Hopefully.
making it
Yeah.
well, that's the thing. Anyone who's causing this, being a distraction or something, being just not there for the movie, they're not gonna go because
You
they
don't
could
think
just
so?
stay at home and watch it
Yeah.
at this point.
Yeah, I tell you, I
Yeah.
agree with that to an extent, but like my biggest example, it's a terrible movie to I don't know to bring up, but so the Ryan Reynolds Green Lantern movie. I
Yeah.
still remember going to see that opening night. So it's a big DC superhero movie. There was lots of marketing all over the place. Plus, it's Ryan Reynolds, who was pretty big at that point. I think he had either was on the verge of or just been named People's Sexiest Man or something. So, he's obviously popping off. And I still remember sitting in that theater, and there was a guy who was with a bunch of friends, clearly didn't give a shit about superheroes, and spent the whole movie every 5 minutes pulling out his phone, looking up stuff on his phone or checking his text or whatever. He was there for that social part of it that we just talked about too. So you still will have that to a certain degree, I think. But you're right. Hopefully, most people that go to the theater, it'll be even less. It'll be less of that because most people will be there for the experience.
Mhm.
The guy sounds like an asshole.
Yeah, right. I had a similar
Basically, yeah.
experience when we went to see Joker. There's a group of people just like being loud, just yelling throughout the entire thing, like cracking jokes about something that would happen, but like literally talking at a voice decibel that like they're talking this loud. Like I was
Yeah.
8 rows back from them and I could hear them as clear as y'all can hear me right now. And
Yeah.
it's just like, one, your jokes aren't good. Two, shut up, dude. Like there's like 100 people in here. We don't want to hear. I didn't pay to hear your conversation. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like,
Yeah.
shut up. Like, so that. I think that's a positive, because I think like the overwhelming majority of people who like want to do that, they're the kind of people who don't care about the movie. They're not going to go pay to go sit in the movie.
Yeah,
They're the kind
sure.
of people who are going to be like, let's just watch it. It's right here.
Yeah.
Another thing is too, and this is what I think could be the most beneficial, where if this becomes a normal thing, because HBO made a claim that like this is just a part of like their 1-year plan, and it's not like it's a line of BS, because this is obviously what they all want to do. This like, but
If this is successful, there's no way
Yeah.
they don't continue.
Yeah.
there's just money talks. So if there's no way. But they say this is going to be a 1-year kind of thing or whatever, right? But if so, and even if it's not a like 1-year thing, what I think another positive is that first positive was kind of for us, the viewer. What I think is like I said, kind of like, I don't know, like 5 minutes ago, not 5 minutes ago, a couple seconds ago. The theaters make like zero money essentially. A fraction of I don't know. Let's say three out of $10, even though it's maybe 1 out of $10. I don't know, maybe 1% of the ticket sales go to the actual theater. It kind of varies per movie, depends on the deal they have. So it just depends. But they don't make a lot of money in the ticket sales, right? What if the new thing going forward is if they're no longer going to have their theatrical window? What if the studios take less money from the ticket sales so that the theaters can have more of that money?
True.
You know what I mean? Because they're going to have less people going into the theaters. Because if this happens, so I think a positive could be if they're no longer going to have the theatrical window for like to secure revenue for the theater industry. I think the studios and the theaters should renegotiate the just the price of the tickets and how much goes back to the studio and how much goes to the theaters. Because if the theaters can at least make more money per ticket, it's going to compensate for them getting less foot traffic in a lot of ways. And it'll also avoid, like, 'cause, if they're getting less foot traffic, the already price gouge popcorn you're going to be eating will probably go up somehow. I don't know how it could go up. At $10 for a bag of popcorn is a bit much, but that's what you got to pay when you go to the theater. So, like, it's hard to imagine them saying, well, it's going to be 15 now, because then people just, They'll just stop going altogether.
I was gonna say, could you imagine that? Like $15.
It's already like, and every time I go and I have to buy it, I'm already annoyed because I have spent
Usually
$10 on it.
nowadays, though, they've got like refillable popcorn, which is nice. But with the COVID stuff, I don't know.
It's still $10 for it, and it's like, how much you actually gonna eat?
Covered with the imitation butter.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. Me, right? I eat popcorn every single day.
Rob loves his
Popcorn every day. Like, I eat popcorn. I don't just eat popcorn at the movie theater. There's people out there that's all. Nah, dude. You eat popcorn every single day of your life. You'll be a lot happier. They got all sorts of flavors. You got chocolate. You got you get the salt, the sweet. Just eat popcorn. It's good for you. But yeah, I think that'd be positive. I think that could be beneficial. That's what they should do. In a perfect world, the theater should get more money for the ticket sales if this is how it's going to be, if they want to remain in business. Because if they outright don't and can't negotiate that, then I don't know. It's just it's pretty much the final nail in the coffin, not building the box at this point.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's going to be interesting to see. I'm shocked to see WB move this direction right now. I would have bet money that they would have waited to evaluate how Wonder Woman performed. If Wonder Woman drove significant numbers of subscriptions to their service, if Wonder Woman viewership numbers were astronomical, I could see them making this call. But to do it without that data in hand, now maybe the preliminary data, maybe all the market research is showing that Wonder Woman is going to be the most watched thing on Christmas Day, or it's showing that maybe they already have seen an increase in subscriptions with the Wonder Woman announcement. Maybe there was a direct correlation, like subscriptions went up 200% in the week following the announcement of Wonder Woman. So maybe they do have some of that empirical data that they're basing this move off of. I just thought, if I had guessed when they would make this move, I would have thought it would have come after they had already done it. Much like Disney did with Mulan. I mean, Disney clearly tried something with Mulan. By all indications, it doesn't seem to have worked, and Disney has backed away from that. And you see them releasing Soul in a different way now. So I'm really shocked to see this. I think it's going to work out just fine. We'll get into the other aspect of it as far as the theaters in a minute, I think. But I think as far as people just have a choice, it's just one more choice. Yes, theaters right now make, you hear the giant box office numbers of movies making $1 billion and movies having, $200 million opening weekends. And yeah, that revenue will get eaten into some, but that revenue will be made up elsewhere, either in subscriptions or whatever else. And you might not have a megaplex with 15 screens. You might have a theater that has 10 screens, 5 screens, whatever. But I just don't see this being a death knell for theaters.
I'll tell you why that they're doing it. It's kind of genius. This is what I think. We talked about before. People a lot of people nowadays, they'll stream service hop, right?
Yeah.
They're gonna unsub from Disney Plus when Mandalorian's over, right? Kind of thing. Then they'll pick it back up when WandaVision comes out or whatever. But Warner Brothers releasing their entire slate. Why are you gonna unsubscribe?
Yeah, that's a pretty big deal. I mean,
every month you're gonna have a new movie
content
coming out.
Yeah.
There's no point if you're interested in it. Like, you gotta think. Like Wonder Woman, then Dune, then Matrix 4, then the Suicide Squad, then whatever. You know what I mean? It's like, why?
And if you've got it, if you're already paying for it and you're paying for it just for that one movie, but it's right there on your streaming device, hey, maybe you'll start checking out one of their original programs, or maybe you'll start checking out an old TV show that you always wanted to watch, or maybe you'll rewatch something. And then you just kind of get hooked on it. You just get in the habit of, when you go to sit down to look for something to watch, you pop on HBO Max first and just start browsing around. So yeah, I definitely think that's a brilliant move on their part, as far as a way to get themselves into that market and create a space for themselves in a market that's already been established and they were late to the game and getting into.
Yeah, because right now they're sitting at around half the subs of Disney Plus, which they're just trailing, I don't know, maybe like a third of the way there to Netflix at this point. So they HBO Max still behind the ball, even though in technical terms they've been around the longest. Like, because it's still just
Yeah.
HBO,
Yeah.
but it's
So-
just rebranded.
So Rick, you, as far as I know, you like going to the theater occasionally,
Yeah.
but you're not as diehard as me about it. So
Yeah.
does this do anything for you? Are you, because you're not currently subscribed to HBO Max, are you?
No, I'm subscribed to Disney Plus, but
Okay.
I mean,
So-
Are you gonna unsub after Mandalorian?
well, it depends on what comes out. I mean, we'd have all kinds of other stuff.
You've got WandaVision in January, so
Well, Mandalorian spinoffs even, or I don't know. We'll see.
true.
It's not very expensive, but I don't know. I
Right
kind of
now.
like the experience. Honestly, it sounds bad of like being able to sit on my own couch and
Yeah.
make food or whatever it is, have people over, and just kind of watch it. And if there's a part you want to go back and rewatch, you can rewind it or whatever. And I don't know. I don't mind movie theaters, but even before the COVID thing, can't even say what like the last time I was at one was. It's just not something I commonly do. So.
Okay, so this
yeah.
this is targeted towards someone like you, but does Warner Brothers let's put it, does Warner Brothers lineup entice you to sign up for the service? I mean,
I'd have
is
to take
this
a-
something? Is this as big a news to kind of the layperson, not the avid moviegoer like me? Is this a big enough news for you that you were like, okay, yeah, I'm willing to jump in and try it?
I'd have to take another look at the Warner Brothers lineup.
Let me hit you
TBH.
with this. Theoretically speaking, we know Wonder Woman is coming out Christmas Day. So let's say if January, these dates aren't correct, but these are movies that are coming out in 2021. Matrix 4, Suicide Squad, Dune. What else do we got? Well, there's
Kombat.
Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, I mean, and
If they
plus,
release those once every month,
I think that sounds good. I mean, that's
Would that
pretty
make it
major for
subscribe?
what, $15 a month?
yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
a movie.
Hell yeah.
a movie ticket a month, really.
that's what I'm saying. But you're getting to see way more movies.
And
And
you
you're
get to
getting to
rewatch
see,
it.
for someone like you, you're getting to see it in the comfort of your own home.
Yeah, I don't
Mhm.
like going outside. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, I mean, sign me up.
This might help you a little bit, Rick. Here we got
Oh, okay.
January.
Space Jam.
Yes.
Elvis?
Godzilla vs. Kong, which we know you're a big kaiju guy. New Space Jam movie.
That's sign me up. Elvis.
Honestly,
Is like an Elvis movie coming out?
yeah,
I guess so. Yeah, I mean, it
I'm
looks pretty good.
surprised they have these coming back to back.
Yeah. Judas and the Black Messiah.
And Sherlock Holmes 3.
Yeah. I mean, I think that looks good for what, $15 a month?
Yeah. I mean, you're talking, what is that, 30?
I mean, to be
180
fair-
180 bucks for the year.
Yeah.
And
Tom
you're
and
not
Jerry.
looking at realistically, there's nothing I would honestly want to sign up for, at least as far as this is concerned, until Kong and Godzilla versus Kong. But then after that,
You got all kinds
you
of
pretty
stuff.
much got me. Like I'm fine with like the Conjuring movies, and like see, with me a lot of points it's just like it's a laziness. Like I don't want to go through the effort of unsubscribing if I know
Yeah.
I'm just gonna end up resubscribing. So it's like, do I want to put in the effort?
It's not expensive enough to like make that big of a difference.
right. You know what I mean? It just
Yeah.
kind of depends. And like to what you were saying before, Rick, Disney Plus is cheap right now. But like I said, they're able to make $7 billion in profits with one show, Mandalorian. That's pretty much it. Like
Definitely.
they literally made all the profits with just that, and with only charging $6 or $7 a month or whatever. So they're gonna raise it to 10 so they can get $10 billion in profit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's a more competitive price, really. Because right now, yeah, sure, they're making profits and everything, but just like you said, if $15 isn't very expensive for you to get HBO, then 10 isn't going to be too much for them to raise their prices for and get
Still be
a
subscribed.
little bit more money. Yeah, exactly. No one's going to care. You got to think too. Disney Plus is going to be popping off soon. Can you imagine? Like they were able to make these much profits and everything with just Mandalorian. Like for the most part, that's the only reason people the biggest reason I'll say, the biggest draw they had was Mandalorian. Like, 'cause that was there right on launch, essentially, right? But soon they're gonna have all these Marvel shows, like, and then they're gonna have the spin-offs of Mandalorian. So, like, they're gonna be in a very similar position even without releasing their entire movie slate because they're putting a lot of, like, money and time into actually developing original content that people actually, like, wanna watch, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, not that, like, HBO isn't, because speaking of original content on HBO Max, I just watched, Raised by Wolves, by the way,
Yep.
because, dude, it's really good. You guys,
Is it?
if you're into weird sci-fi shit, alright, then
Yeah.
yes, you're gonna love it. Because if you
Okay.
liked Alien and, like, I don't know, just that kind of thing, and, like, the android stuff in Alien, I guess, you know, and just, like, weird, just it's weird. It's a weird good show. It's really good. Go watch it. I binged it. Like, I got it done, like, quick.
A
Like,
weird good show.
it's really good and weird because you have, like, no context. I had 0 context going into it. What made me wanna watch it was I knew Ridley Scott produced it and directed the first episode, and I saw someone say that there was, like an alien tie-in or something, or, like, Easter egg or something
in the
in it,
same
which
universe
there's
or whatever.
not. So don't get worried that it's a spoil. It's not. The creator of the show and, like, confirmed it's not actually a part of the alien universe, so I'm not spoiling anything. Unless you consider disproving something to be a spoiler, it's not a spoiler, okay? It's not. But the creator did say it's like a close cousin. It could be considered to be like a close cousin to the Alien universe or whatever, because it was developed with Ridley Scott. So
Yeah.
I mean, the androids bleed white, okay, just like they did in Alien. So I don't fault anybody. And then, like, as it goes on, the stuff you see, like, I don't know. It almost makes me feel like one day, if they really wanted to, they could connect it because there's enough similarities. But I
Yeah.
don't know, if you're into that kind of stuff, you'll love Raised by Wolves. Like, it's really good. Imagine, like, I'll give you a quick pitch for it just so you guys are on the same page. If I haven't sold you yet, what the humanity is, like, kinda, like, dying off everywhere. They're trying to like, populate other planets, but one of the reasons that, humanity is kinda is, like, dead is there was, like, a war between, atheists and this, like, religious zealot group. It's not like Christianity, but because they have their own, like, different god called Soul. So it's like this made up Christian thing, and then you have androids, and it's like, I don't know. If you're into weird shit like that, go watch the show. It's really good.
Yeah.
So that's my pitch. It's a terrible pitch, but it's good. Go watch it. As far as this HBO stuff goes, though, dude, I don't know. I'm excited for it in a lot of ways, and I'm worried for the movie industry at the same time. As a consumer, like, unselfishly, as long as I'm getting, like, I guess selfishly, like, I know because it's all these are unprecedented times for everybody, and, like, you don't want, the theater industry to die. I like going to the movie theater and things like that, but as long as, like, you're getting good content, that's really what I care about. As far as the method in which I'm getting it,
Yeah.
like, it doesn't really matter to me in a lot of ways as long as the content's good. Because my biggest fear for all of this is like just getting subpar content because they're just gonna put it on their streaming service. Like, like a lot of things, like, back, remember, like, direct to DVD movies?
Yeah.
Same kind of concept with, like, a lot of times when a movie just bypasses theaters and goes straight to a streaming service, you're left to assume that it was bad. Like, it's not very
That's
good.
generally the idea of it.
Yeah, I mean, everybody assumes that. It's just like some, t- I don't know, like a tainted thing. Like, I don't know. But that's my biggest fear. So as long as that's not going to be the
But
case, then
that used to be an indicator of the monetary value associated with it. You could make, hundreds of millions of dollars by having a film run theatrically versus, what, half a fraction, a quarter of that, by doing a direct to video release. So, you're able to double dip with the theater experience. You're able to release it, in the theater and make that money there, and then also release it on home video later. At least that's been kind of the formula for the past. And
mhm.
now it's streaming services, but that's been the formula for the past, what, 2, 3 decades. So, yeah, I mean, it's definitely shift, but I think that monetary value, and now that the monetary value is shifted over to the streaming side, I don't think you have to worry necessarily. I think the problem now is going to be, I think the competition between the streaming services is going to ensure that the quality remains somewhat high at least.
Yeah, well, as long as they're getting, that's what kind of made me stop thinking that way, is once you realize just how profitable like Netflix and Disney Plus and like these things have the potential of being, there's really no excuse for them to put out piss poor content.
Yeah.
Like I think it
You don't
was, if I'm
you don't
getting
want to give you don't want to give people an excuse to quit. You don't
exactly,
want to
all
give
right,
them, yeah.
it's because I think uh, what was it? I think Disney last year, um, because like I said, they made like $7 billion, or projection to make $7 billion in profits from Disney Plus by itself. And I think last year, all of Disney parks, merchandising, everything involving like studio, everything, movies, all of Disney made 11 billion. They made 7 just with Disney Plus. So it's
Yeah.
like Disney Plus by itself at a cheap $6-7 a month fee with one show was able to almost generate just as much profit as all of Disney last
Yeah.
year. So it's like, they don't really have an excuse. Once you hear the numbers and see the numbers, it's like, yeah, there's no surprise that they just want to focus on their streaming service.
Yeah.
It's they see how much money they make for it, and that's like what you were just saying. Why would you give anybody an excuse to want to quit just by putting out piss poor content? So once you see, and like, I don't know, it's just like there's no excuse for them to do it. Once they make that much money, they don't need the movie to go make $1 billion at the box office for them to justify spending 200 million on it if they know they're gonna make 7 billion or more just by making good stuff and making people subscribe to their damn streaming service.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Let's move in. This is kind of we're going to consider that its own topic to some degree, but going along with that, so initially, first, let us know what you guys think about just HBO Max releasing. Let us know if we missed anything. But we've been going on this one for about a half hour, so I want to move on to the next one because it's kind of connected to it. So let us know what you guys think about HBO Max releasing, or not HBO Max, but Warner Brothers releasing all of their content on to HBO Max during the year 2021. And do you think it's going to have a BS line of them saying it's only a 1-year plan, or do you think they're obviously just wanting to go full swing in their streaming service, just like Disney announced they're going to? So let us know in the comment section below.